So my original proposal was to become a magician. For honours, that was my kind of idea. But then I realised that asking how to become a magician sort of presupposed that I already believed in a magical process in the world, and that therefore sort of we're all embedded in a magical process. We're all magicians. Maybe that's kind of the wrong question. Also, there's a lot of problematic things about the word magician and about a lot of different things such as shaman, sorcerer, magician, that nothing quite describes what I'm trying to get into. So anyway, then my next idea was to just try and this is sort of about visionary imagination and how to navigate that. And then I'm sort of moving more towards how to navigate our birthright of infinite consciousness, which I think my belief is that we're in this world where everything is conscious and minds are creating one another, creating themselves and creating the world that they live in, the structure that they live in. So then the question that becomes, how do you move through that space if that is the case? And so anyway, I'm just going to go through here. There's some work from last year. My painting practice, it draws on these ideas, but it's also embedded in a sort of romantic painting tradition, and also talking about figurative painting tradition, and so as this painting has multiple parts of other paintings inside it, these figures are all, this is the Tempest after Giorgione. So he did a painting that was already kind of like almost looking like a collage-y kind of strange painting, where there's some people having a picnic, probably looks like a woman and child or something, and then there's a soldier over there, and then there's this huge storm at the same time, and it looks kind of disjointed. Yeah, anyway, so maybe I'll go move on from that one. And so a lot of my paintings, they're drawing on multiple things at the same time and trying to unify them into some kind of field. And also, I'm really interested in allegory and producing meaning, but not in things having to have a specific meaning. That I don't like the idea of sort of allegory where you know that, oh, that's that saint because he's holding the staff and he's got that book, and there's not. I don't want to have a specialized knowledge per se. Although if you do know the paintings that they're from, you would gather oh, that's from that painting. But I want my artwork to be able to be approached by anyone and to generate some kind of meaning. So you've got this sort of strange object that's could be a philosopher's stone or a Pokemon ball, and some different figures from other paintings in. So yeah, I think I just already started talking about panpsychism, the idea that everything has mind, everything psyche, mind. And there's some interesting a scientist called Donald Hoffman, who I've recently discovered, who really, I feel makes good arguments for the world being, reality being consciousness that creates things such as atoms and space and time. Upon that, he's trying to develop mathematical models of consciousness to try and create the things we see as physical, rather than the physicalist view of the sort of materialist view of trying to generate mind out of matter, which is seen as the hard problem in science. This reference as the hard problem because of the fact that it's very hard to figure out. But it's a lot of the time they're trying to think how could all the neurons in your brain interact to create that consciousness. There's a few people who think that the world could possibly just be generated out of consciousness. I'll skip through some stuff because, yeah. And I've always liked Goethe, who has, I think he's a good example of, I think all literature in a way is about minds interacting with minds. Like stories, that's generally what's happening. But Goethe, in like, if you read Faust, he has like thousands of characters, and there's like each particular type of flower becomes a character that comes and speaks what it is thinking. So like, you know, like the poppies or the lilies, you know, like, and like there's like thousands and thousands of characters, and they like are all interacting. And so I've been writing a story I've started for quite a while, but I think I want to kind of bring it into my practice more, which is sort of a sci-fi kind of fiction that has all these different worlds and timelines, and I could go into that more, but that's going to take a while. But some of the paintings I was doing the last few years were trying to go into some of those worlds more, to like discover parts of those sci-fi worlds, and there's sort of some of the ideas that are sort of like minds containing universes, and then those parts of those minds becoming fractured and creating power objects within those universes that can generate worlds. And there's coin worlds, and our universe is part of that. And then someone goes and collects people through history from this universe into like a coin, whether they just are sort of cloned to live forever. And then so there's parts of it where they're getting influenced by philosophers from this universe, and that explains some of the similarities to our universe. But it's some of the characters also journey into that coin and interact with like people who were sort of separated in time but now can interact simultaneously, and some of them are like they're all like living forever, and some of their views are changing, and some are staying the same. They kind of band together in different areas of that coin. So the giants that help construct utopia and Roman life world are born from eggs that are scattered through the galaxy. Keep on floating on outermost layer consisting of cloud spaceships on life world. Life world is one of the worlds that's created by this 9 or 12 creation stones. One of them is the life stone, and the life world is very I paint a lot from life world because there's a lot of shifting boundaries between animal and plant and geology, or sort of and they have the world sort of cut up into layers, but you can travel down different layers. So you see what is appeared to be a sky, but that's sort of just another layer, like this branches of these vast trees, which then become another layer, and then it sort of just all starts to flake off and float out. We all eat each other continually. Cloud spaceship production beneath outermost layer on life world. So there's a cloud spaceship being produced, and this is one of the cloud spaceships floating off with some sort of figures on it. And then I wanted to break that a bit. I put this. I was listening to Terence McKenna talking about magic, and he quoted this thing from the Corpus Hermeticum. If then you do not make yourself equal to God, you cannot apprehend God, for like is known by like. Leap clear of all that is corporal, and make yourself grown to a like expanse, with that greatness which is beyond all measure. Rise above all time and become eternal, then you will apprehend God. Think that for you too, nothing is impossible. Deem that you are immortal, and that you are able to grasp all things in your thought, to know every craft and science. Find your home in the haunts of every living creature. Make yourself higher than all heights and lower than all depths. Bring together in yourself all opposites of quality, heat and cold, dryness and fluidity. Think that you are everywhere at once, on land, at sea, in heaven. Think that you are not yet begotten, that you are in the womb, that you are young, that you are old, that you have died, that you are in a world beyond the grave. Grasp in your thought all of this at once, all times and places, all substances and qualities and magnitudes together. Then you can apprehend God. So I thought maybe that the new proposal should be become God. Yeah. And it is kind of tongue-in-cheek, and I know it's impossible, but I think we're all God anyway, so maybe it's just equally as strange as saying become a magician, except perhaps people, if you say you're becoming God, would get the tongue-in-cheek, get the self-critical nature of it faster than if I say I'm becoming a magician, because it's just crazy. Yeah. Vision logic, the coronation of the Emperor Aeolian. It's another painting of mine.
How big are these paintings? Sorry.
This 120 by 160 centimeters, so it's about like.
So quite large.
Yeah.
Large scale.
Yeah. Some of there was a few up there were a bit bigger, and then the rest are small. I should tell you the centimeters perhaps because I'm reading it. It'll be helpful. Like this one, that's tiny, and this one's like that big, and then that one is about that big. Oops. An egg sits on its throne, enmeshed in a network of limbs and organs, shivering with all the lost moments yet to be. Floating castle ontology. A lot of. The other thing I like about allegory is that it can be pictures of how it's sort of similar to Nietzsche. You know, he has these allegories that are they're ontologies, they're ideas and understandings of being, and then those pictures can shift, and you can point to sort of physical things within a metaphor and say, well, if you're saying that this is, you know, say I'm saying that that our understanding of the world is a floating castle. I'm saying that it doesn't have a connection anymore to the ground. Like we used to have castles that were our understandings of the world. Cartesian times, you know, but now we've moved through sort of the truth's questioned. There's no bottom, and the castle that we live in is constantly sort of twisting around because there's no foundation. God's light in the drone drifts past a sea of, and there's quite a big, there's 2.5 meters wide. And sort of thinking about how to sort of move into these ideas more, maybe using such practices as Jung's active imagination, where he would try and move into sort of more of a dream space, or like something that's beyond or before rationality. So he would try and experience what he was being fed in his, you know, he was sort of starting to experience a psychosis, and then he just was very afraid of that, but then completely open to it and said, I'm just going to experience whatever it is to give me. And that he was able to work through it by sort of just like diving into it. And he did these amazing illustrations in part of his red book where he has a lot of writing and that's nothing else yet. So that's why, and you sort of there's a snake in here. Can we zoom in more? There seems to be like just everything's dense, and there's things that feel like lots of eyes and creatures coming out of this. They're quite beautiful. Yeah, and I mean, Jung he researched a lot of alchemy and that sort of quest, which is similar to Hermeticism, and he also links it to this sort of path of individuation and bringing everything back into a whole, so you can bring the dark parts of yourself and you join them back together. Just skip that rest of the notes. And I have this theory of like perhaps navigating infinite consciousness is about unifying complexity, and that's the same thing as beauty. So beauty is unified complexity. It's when you have fractals and those kind of things, they're a good example of that, because they're the complex system and a unified system. And ideally, I think that's what I want to like push in my paintings is to complexify as much as possible, but still have some kind of unification. There's some contemporary artists like Nigel Cook. I like the amount of different styles that he's trying to push into his work. I've got so I've got like 4 more slides after this, 5, of different contemporary artists. So I don't know how much time everyone's got, and like, should I just whiz through them maybe? Yeah. Or Gleason, who's an Australian sort of a surrealist, I suppose, but here's a quote from Gleason: "Metamorphosis has always been for me one of the basic facts of life. Everything takes a form, changes, falls apart, and reforms in new organisations as part of an endless cycle." And I like this also. He said, "It is not whether you have understood exactly what the artist has in mind, but whether or not it has stirred your imagination into a creative act. You have reacted out of your own experience, and hence the relationship between you and the painting becomes an interplay. Because you have given the picture something in yourself, then the picture becomes part of you." I also really like this. There's a collaborative, like the comic called The Inkle, that Jodorowsky, they're using Holy Mountain. He's a director for Holy Mountain, and he's an incredibly creative director who joins a lot of concepts and a lot of allegorical ideas together. And The Inkle I think he produced after he had a giant failed project of June that didn't work out. It was this incredible creative vision, and then he started just making visual books instead, and it has these incredible worlds where there's a lot of transformation and moving through different spheres, and that's definitely this is my painting, War of the Worlds. Ulysses riding Polyphemus, big pile of junk, little ship there. Yeah, and I guess there's some romantic painters at the end there. Any questions?
Saying like before your cousin was to becoming a magician, and then it was to becoming a god.
Yeah.
What's the difference?
Well, yeah, I don't know. That's a good question.
Isn't it like magical sort of practices need to be like without being like
Yeah.
But is the magician like faking it?
Yeah, there's the idea of the magic
faking
trick.
to be God, and then God is God.
probably the magical question to ask.
Is the god actually a magician?
Yeah.
We looked at like the artists that do magical practice, like now, just recently passed like Jason Theory and stuff like that. So it's like the temple of psychic youth, which is their like magical division of their noise bands.
Yeah.
And they understand they say alter everything, which is not only to turn everything into alter, but to change everything.
I should look at that. I'll definitely get that out.
It's got that, and that experimental industrial movement with like the magical tendency.
Yeah.
And same like Burroughs practice chaos magic, made chaos magic an interesting thing to look at. And as well, William became like a writer because they said that it's like immortal gods. Sort of.
So were you saying that they would link to chaos magic? Or
Yeah, William Burroughs.
Oh, William Burroughs,
and,
yeah.
Who was the artist who was Dyson? No, Dyson. Yeah, Brian Dyson.
Yeah.
They did like they put a spell in outer space. If anyone goes in outer space, they're cursed by Brian Dyson and William Burroughs. So like,
Yeah.
So we can't like let this shit leak.
Wow.
People look at it.
Yeah, it sounds so relevant to it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
There was actually like when I thought that you two would have some good conversations actually. Like very different approaches, but kind of like similar in ways. Like I'm not identical, but you questioning God and then also you questioning God in very different ways.
Yeah. Thanks, everyone.
Have you ever seen The Magician on the 11 tram?
No.
Just wondering. There's just a magician who
Yeah.
comes in the 11 tram sometimes.
Does he have
Yeah.
the orange moustache?
Yeah. He's pretty evil. He kind of costs people and does magic to them, but...
Yeah.
He has really all the orange hair and like
No, he's got like bready browny hair. He's
So
just
does
sort
he
of
have
looks
one
like
of
a
those
dude.
moustaches? Like it looks like
Yeah.
a really magician-y
Yeah.
person.
Yeah, it's like
yeah.
kind of looks like a moustache.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think I've,
Like near the end of the 11.
yeah, I think I've seen him in the city before. He like carries around like business cards. What does he do to people on the train?
I've never experienced it in my happened, but it happened, you know, and come up and like, do magic, like pick a card, and you say no, and he goes, card.
What kind of like forces
Yeah,
magic
yeah.
upon you?
He like
Weird flags.
really accosts you with his magic. Yeah.
Yeah.
But so lately, it was more like the start of last year.
Yeah.
The show on the tramp all the fucking time.
Yeah, I feel like the magician thing, it's the tricking, thing. But maybe, that is what.
Maybe that's what God do.
Well, maybe that's what we do. We're creating whatever our own, our individuality is created, like self.
There's two spellings really consider like magic with a K in it. So magic with a K. Things which are like tricks, like card tricks, or like
Yeah.
kind of like really trying to escape from that.
Yeah, right.
I said K.
Huh. Yeah, I wondered why that was changed. That's just one changes. Yeah.